Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Today, we're back with award-winning author, keynote speaker, and executive coach, Annie Meehan. Hey, Annie, welcome back.
Thanks so much. Glad to be back. Happy to be with you.
Glad to have you back. And today, I want to talk all about your advice for authors with ADHD and dyslexia. So, Annie, what productivity techniques have helped you stay focused and finish multiple books despite ADHD and dyslexia?
Great question. I always feel like when people bet against me, it really helps. Seems like a silly thing to say, but at 21, I was told I wasn't smart enough to go to college. And just last week, after 38 years, I graduated from college. But that fuel of being told because you're different, because you have dyslexia, because you have ADHD, because you can't spell, you should just quit now while you're ahead because you're never going anywhere, has always been put a little burn in my belly. So if somebody has told you you have a disability or a difference and you can't, I hope you'll use that as fuel rather than betting against yourself. Use it as fuel to bet on yourself. So what helps me? A lot of things, and I have to have a lot of things. I have a date with myself every Sunday night to plan out my week. And as someone who speaks and coaches and writes, I have to pick what day this week will I focus on my writing? What day this week will I focus on my speaking? What day will I focus on my coaching? Outreach? What day do I post what on social media? So I have to be organized. And as much as that is difficult for me or for you with ADHD, it's possible. And when everything's possible, just go after it and do it. And don't let anyone bet against you. So systems. So I have to have systems in place to track where I'm going to work on whatever. Number one. Number two, I always have a coach. So I am a coach and I coach people. I also have a coach and I have coaches for specific things. So I love having a coach to write a book. My second book, Be the Exception, won a national award. And when that won that award, it was because I worked with Wise Inc., which is a hybrid out of Minneapolis run by two women. But my coach's name was Laura. And every Monday, Laura would email me, Annie, work on this story. Annie, get rid of this story. Annie, expand this story. And then once we'd get the email every week, and then once a month, we'd meet face to face for 2 to 3 hours and we'd talk through it. And she'd take notes and say, did you hear what you said? That was so good. So we learned to like quote myself and quote other people that inspired me to do the work I do. So having a coach, having a system, and then also having grace. One thing that really helps me, and I don't know if this will help other people, but I tell people pretty quickly, hey, I have a book coming out. It'll come out in September. Have you started on it? I'm just starting. So I always start with the end in mind. I always have that date that I want it released, March 1st. So I just before I got on this call with you, finished the finishing touches on my cover for book 10. And so I said it would be out by March 1st. It will now, paperback and ebook as well. But I've done a couple Audible as well. So having the end in mind, having a tracking system of when I'm going to work on it, having a coach that helps me stay accountable to the goals. If I'm going to have it out by September 1st, how many chapters do I want it to be? When do I want it done by? I have 2 full traditional books. I have a couple inspirational journal, workbook, Bible studies, and then I have some small life lesson books. So having different styles too, and especially with people's first book, small books work. I actually write in a little bit larger print and a little bit less words on a page because of dyslexia, ADHD, and struggling with depression early on in my life. So I'm always writing in the easiest form to read. And I cannot tell you how joy-filled it is, but how many people have told me I'm one of the first books they've ever finished, if the first book they've ever completed, because it was so easy to read. So I try to write at an easy reading level. I try to be kind to myself and also think about the reader always. So when we're easily distracted, also I use my phone. So I walk the beach every day. So I'll take my phone, put it on notes and put it on Audible, and I'll walk and talk it out. I'll email it to myself. Yes, of course, it's jumbled and there's messed up words, but then I can edit from there. And I've heard it said, write drunk and edit sober. And I think you don't have to be drunk, just be free flowing. So letting myself have a lot of grace to just release and then come back and edit later. So that's a lot, but there you go.
Oh, that's all fantastic. I mean, just the writing drunk, as in just letting the ideas flow, because that's once you get in that role, doesn't matter what's spelled wrong or if it makes too much sense right now, you know it makes sense in your head and you can go edit sober. And just the fact that you mentioned having a coach, mentors, coaches, people that have done it before, or just even people that can like help you believe in yourself, keep you on track. I mean, it's just so important to have those people because you always want somebody to run to and say, hey, what do you think? Or like, how do you think? Or look at this, so I absolutely love that. The last thing I would say that I think is just incredible advice is just setting deadlines for yourself, even if they're your own set deadlines. And like you said, you start talking to people about this is going to happen. I'm going to get it done by this date. Then you're like, I got to get it done by this date, you know?
Exactly.
I gotta commit. Yeah. So I do
Exactly.
really love that. Now, did you develop any writing habits or routines to overcome writing challenges specifically?
I mean, a big one for me is Tuesdays is kind of my writing day. So having one day a week that I know I'm going to do some sort of writing, whether it's writing for a blog or writing for a book. That's one, picking a day. But the other thing was the talking. When I realized I could talk, because I'm a much better articulate with my speaking than my writing sometimes, and flowing a story out, walking and talking and letting it record me and then emailing it was a really great habit. Another thing that you said about having a coach, yes, having a coach is so important. One of the hardest things about having a coach, as much as I highly recommend it, is you got to check your ego at the door. Because when I wrote my second book, it was very personal. I was writing Dumpster to Dynasty. I had envisioned this book for 20 years. And the coach I worked with said, don't write it. And I was like, what? And I said, why not? And she said, what's it about? And I said, it's a memoir of coming out of a dumpster lifestyle and living this dynasty lifestyle. And she said, there's enough memoirs. Teach us. And it was probably the best advice. And I was like, what? I'm not going to teach you. This is my book. This is what, check your ego at the door and listen to wise people around you that have experience. Because if I let my ego, and she said, that story is not important. I'm like, yes, it is. When I had to say, wait a minute, is it important to the reader? Not is
Mm.
it just important to me? So checking your ego and having a brilliant coach say, this is great. Tell us more. This isn't excellent. Leave it out or minimize it really helped me. So that was the strategy, writing on Tuesdays, talking, recognizing that for a lot of people talking out a book, especially if we have dyslexia or ADHD, because when you start typing and you're misspelling and then you got too many words and you're missing a word, you get stuck in your head. Oh, I'm not good at this. All that doubt comes in. So having that cheerleader, accountability partner, encourager on the journey and telling other people. When I released the cover of my book in January of 2016, my second book, my first one was more of an inspirational journal. People start asking me, I can't wait to read it. You said March 1st. When can I get a copy? I was like, oh my gosh, I better finish this, right? So having that deadline and then being public about it holds you accountable to a higher level to get it done.
Right. I love that. Now, I love the dictation, especially with just the way your brain works, because it is also the way my brain works. Now, how did you, or what softwares or anything did you use for your actual editing process?
I would guess you have a lot better software than I do. So I do just notes on my phone and I turn on the microphone, and that's how I do it. Then when I send it to myself, I use Grammarly. I mean, today with Chat GPT, which I didn't have when I was first, that is another tool for a lot of people to use. Having other readers, having beta readers, and offering them something, saying, hey, will you read this for me and I'll do this for you or do that. Really, as some people love to read and have the time. I was part of a women's writers group in Minnesota called Wow Women of Words that was brilliant. I'm part of another women's group called Innovation Women Online, asking other people and asking them, don't just tell me it was good. Tell me, what did you learn? Tell me, what did you like? Tell me, what would you have done different or better? Whether I change it based on them, I still wanted to hear that, and learning to open my mind and remove my ego. Those are some things. So Grammarly, Chat GPT today, I have a VA, in addition to having a coach, I have a VA that helps me with a lot of things too, because I'm big visionary ideas, but I'm not always details and clarity of sentence. And I write as I speak like a run-on sentence. And so I have to slow it down, make it smaller, make it digestible, and think about the reader. Like that was very important to me. What if someone was depressed? Could they still read my book? What if someone only read one page? Could they still find value? What if I ask myself a lot of questions. I think thinking, putting yourself in like, why do I struggle with reading? What's been hard? What's been good? And trying to apply that to the writing that I do.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I for one love Grammarly. Obviously, AI is great for structure. It's great for editing. And it can even give you some ideas too. Or, do you think this chapter belongs after or before? What were my readers like? And then just the beta readers, they're so priceless. They're wonderful. And they're your true fans. They're willing to go through the trenches with you. So, Annie, this has been great. Lastly, I just want to ask you, what advice would you give to other neurodivergent writers who struggle with consistency and self-doubt?
I love that question. Get away from people that are betting against you. That's the first piece of advice. Get away from people that are telling you you are your label. You're a lot of things. And the most, in my mind, the most brilliant and successful people in the world are neurodivergent. We see big pictures. We miss things, and we need a great support system around us. So get a great support system of people that believe in you, that want what's best for you, and that can fill in the cracks where you're missing without judging you, right? And so I think just keep believing in yourself and don't let your differences define your results. Like I said, I just graduated from college. Now I'm going to start working on my master's. I just released my 10th book. You can do everything and anything someone else can do. You might need a little more support to do it. Get around people that believe in you, support you, remove yourself from negativity, remove from people from self-doubters. And you actually, I feel like neurodivergent, actually, we are so creative and big vision. The world runs because of people that can see big pictures without knowing always how to get there. We'll figure that out. But at least we have to first envision it. And that I love being around people that are creative visionaries because they're always thinking what next and how and why and all of these cool things. And so please just don't give up and don't let anyone bet against you. And if they do, use it as fuel to launch yourself to your next to-do list.
Well, Annie, thank you so much. That was wonderful insight and advice for authors with ADHD and dyslexia.
Thank you for having me. I'm grateful to be here.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to today's interview with award-winning author, keynote speaker, and executive coach, Annie Meehan. Be sure to check out our website for more videos. Wishing you all a fulfilling and successful writing journey.